Well, if that ain't paradise, I don't know what is. It's incredible.
Just amazing.
We have never seen anything like this.
This is the best day ever.
G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Jack and this is Megan. We've just finished our first lap of Australia in our Toyota Troop carrier.
Yep, so we usually do travel vlogs. We vlogged our whole way around Australia, so if you're new here, go and check those out.
And subscribe.
But today we're going to be doing a wrap up on our lap of Australia. We're going to take you through exactly how the Troopy went.
Yep.
We're going to let you know a few things we would do differently and what we're actually going to change for our second lap.
Yep.
We'll let you know exactly what we spent and just a few of the challenges that we faced along the way and some things that you should consider when planning your own lap or extended trip.
So we'll start with the Troopy. We'll talk about every single modification and accessory that was added to it. We'll start up front with the bull bar, the ARB bar work. Absolutely, it's fine. It is honestly stand out, no paint fade. It talks for itself. ARB is a renowned company. And it's just performed perfectly for what it needs to do, hold the winch and the spotties, and that's what it's done.
Thankfully we didn't need it for any collisions or anything like that.
So definitely obviously think about getting a bull bar because collisions can happen, but we were very lucky, thankfully. Now we'll move over to the scrub bars and side steps. Scrub bars came in handy a few times when going up rutted hills. We did bump into the side of the car and that definitely saved us from a few dents, so definitely consider scrub bars. They did well. Side steps, 100%. They help you get in and out of the car.
Yeah,
and
I would struggle with that.
Megan would struggle, and obviously when you're going over rocks and stuff, it does help. Like, once again, with denting the car, it stops that from happening. We got a safari snorkel. Definitely recommend a snorkel all round because you will be going to places where you don't want that anxiety of the water coming up over your bonnet and into your airbox. You just don't want that to happen.
And some of the best places that we did visit had really deep water crossing.
Like El Questro Gorge on the Gibb River Road, that was a standout and you just don't want to miss it. So definitely get a snorkel, a sealed up snorkel. It will take that anxiety away and you won't have to worry about nothing. Coming around to the other side of the car here, we got the Ensuite. So the Ensuite definitely came in handy. We didn't use it much.
Yeah, I didn't use it as much as I thought we would.
But it was good to have there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, if you can have it on your car, definitely invest in one and invest in a quality one. I've seen a few of the ones that are available out there now and there's a few copies going around and all that kind of stuff and they look very flimsy. So do your research. I always say it, do your research and get the best one you can afford. And the gull wing to go with the Ensuite, it's a yes from us again because when we're showering in there, our soap's right there when we open up the gull wing and it's so easy. Now, you want to tell them about the shower?
Oh yes, so as you might have seen in previous videos, we did have the Companions Aqua Heat gas water
lithium shower.
Gas shower, which was 100% an amazing luxury, but that is exactly what it is. It is a luxury. So for us to have it
became a pain.
Yeah.
In a way, unless you've got like a spot for it in your car or room for it to sit where it's out of the way.
Which we did not.
So we just stuck with our other Companions. We like Companions gear, guys. It's really good. It's like a wireless pump and it goes into a bucket and it comes straight out to a shower head. You just straight in the bucket, boil a kettle, and that's the way we showered. So yeah, that was an easy, simple way. We'd recommend that. And now we'll come around to the back of the car, the rear bar. Now, this is something that I cannot wait to change for a few reasons. It's an MCC rear bar. For starters, I didn't know much about them and it was a very big pain to install at the start. So if you're looking into getting one, consider that. You're going to have to drill new holes and it just doesn't fit properly from the start and it doesn't really hold the weight well. Now, I do have two 22 litre jerry cans and a gas bottle on one side and a spare tyre. I know that's a lot of weight, which is the second thing I'll be doing is the first thing is I'll be getting rid of the rear bar and I'll be opting for possibly a Kmart rear bar with a built-in tow bar, and I'll be going with just one jerry can on the back, one water can, jerry can, no gas bottle and a spare tyre. I just felt like there was too much weight at the back. So if you're looking at doing something like that, consider it. I've had a few people tell me, and I've said it in previous videos, that there's too much weight at the back, and there was in the end. You can really feel it when you're fully loaded up, that the car sways a little bit. So the rear bar will be going. I'll be replacing it with a much more quality made one, and like the built-in tow bar, etc. And I won't be putting too much weight on the back there. So yes, that's the rear bar. Now we'll go around to the MaxTrax table.
That's the number one question that we get asked, is where it's from and do we recommend it. And it's probably, besides the tent, it's our most used part of the car, I'd say.
It's wicked bit of kit. It's from Quick Pitch. We get a lot of questions where it's from. It's by a company called Quick Pitch in Perth. They're a South African brand, and they really know what's going on. They're brilliant. So yeah, it holds MaxTrax as well, which obviously comes in handy. But yeah, consider a table on your car. If you can fit it somewhere, or a MaxTrax table.
Yeah, we're huge on minimising the stuff that we have in our hallway. That's what we just want to try and we want to have a designated area for everything. Yeah. And it's probably me just being a bit anal about that sort of thing. But
we've got it pretty down packed now to just 2 seats sitting in the middle, our camp chairs.
And the, what's it called?
Solar panel. So continuing around, what else we got on there?
Do you want to go under the car?
We'll go under the car now to the suspension setup. Now it's a GVM upgradable Lovells suspension kit. It has done more than the job. It has not sagged at all. It has taken a lot of weight. We did the Gibb River Road on it. We've been over so many corrugations, and it did the job. It's good. But I will be changing it. Not because it didn't do the job, but I want to experiment with different parts, different kits, and like I want to go parabolic leaf springs at the rear, just to see, because I don't know. I would like to get educated in all kinds of different things. So that's the reason I'll be changing them up. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them, and they're a very good product. A bit of paint fade on the leaf springs, that's about it, but that really doesn't matter. And what else? We got the ARB locker under there. I would definitely recommend it. That thing has pushed us through some boggy sand. It's definitely not necessary, but it definitely did help. It's got us to some pretty cool camp spots.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And got us out of some trouble a few times. And so yeah, just once again, if you can afford it, definitely put a rear locker. I'd say a rear locker, or both lockers, front and rear. It would be awesome. Everything else is stock under the car. It's Toyota, mate. It's second to none, and we had no problems at all. We had a wheel bearing go on the Gibb River. That was probably my fault for not getting them checked before I did it, and not getting them greased up. That is something that you should do, maintenance-wise. All steering components, everything went perfectly. Tyres. Now, the tyres were good. The Wild Peak AT3s, I think they're ATW3, sorry. They did all right, but when we got on the Gibb River, they went straight away.
Although that comes back to planning as well. Ideally we would have liked to go anti-clockwise, so we hit all of that rough stuff and got it over and done with first, but due to the time that we left and the weather, we ended up going the other way around.
And that wore the tyres down a bit more, so when we did hit that the rougher surfaces, maybe this had something to do with it. But what I found was the sidewalls on the Wild Peaks are not as tough as some other tyres that are available. And even though you're not always on corrugations and having to worry about the sidewall, it's something like the snorkel where you just don't want that anxiety. And that's
just peace of mind.
Peace of mind, and that's a lesson we learnt. We got a flat tyre, hit the sidewall on the Gibb River Road within 60 kilometres of being on it. So that is something I'll be changing, is the tyres for another tyre with a tougher sidewall. But the tyres performed really well. They're nice and quiet, brilliant on the sand. It's just that sidewall I'm not happy with, so that is the reason why I'll be changing them.
But overall, they did well.
Yeah, they did well.
How many kilometres we actually did on them?
I think I had I don't know how many thousands of kilometres we had on there. It'll be a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, they've done well, and they're still on the car. They're still going. But yeah, the winch. So that's another reason for the bull bar, so you can have your winch. Like I said, we used that 2 times.
Wait, did we though? Yeah, just to pull it out 2 people. Two
people.
Never to pull out ourselves though.
No, never to pull out ourselves. But the 2 people we pulled out were both in Broome. 2 separate people. One in a Parado, which got stuck on the bottom of a hill, which was on the beach, and the tide was coming in, and he wouldn't let his tyres down. I shouldn't have helped him, but I did. And I had to skull drag him up this massive hill in the boggiest sand you've ever seen, and the winch did it in like 40-degree heat.
Yeah.
It's a Ridge Rider from Super Cheap Auto. I paid $500 for it, so pretty happy with that. It performed very well for $500. And another one was on a guy in Broome as well. He got bogged on the beach, so used it twice for 2 other people and not ourselves. But I think it's a must-have. And in saying that, we spent $500 on it. And
it's just another sort of peace of mind.
Another peace of mind thing, yeah. Spotties are good to have. We don't really use them as much as we'd like to.
Yeah, we don't really do much night driving. We like to be set up and having dinner before the sun even goes down usually.
But in saying that, we just did some night driving the other night, and having those spotties there, it helped incredibly.
It was about 7 o'clock at night and there was about 1,000 kangaroos out.
Everywhere, and the spotties helped. So
that was an over-exaggeration. There was about 100.
the spotties definitely, I think you should have a pair on there for sure.
Yeah.
The awning.
Oh, yeah.
So the shadow awning, it's done pretty well. It's starting to come a little bit loose on its bracket, so it's bolted to the alu cab. The nutserts are starting to become a little loose, but once again, we've used it that many times that is completely expected to happen, and it's very worn in.
Yeah.
But it's still doing the job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once again, it's like the tyre situation. The suspension situation. I would like to change it just to see what other brands are like, because I just want to be able to tell you guys how all kinds of different products are, how they perform. So that's why I'll be changing that if I can.
Okay, so we'll talk about the actual interior fit out of the car. As you may know, we love our interior fit out. That's why we're always sitting in here chilling.
It has worked so well.
So the actual fit out has been amazing. So we have broken a few things. We've got a drawer front on the back drawer that's just sort of completely come off the wooden face of it.
But that's nothing. That can glue straight back on.
Glued back on. We've got a few latches, button latches on our drawers. The middle one has completely come off, and all 3 drawers really don't latch in properly.
It pretty much comes down to so much use.
Yeah, and they're getting a bit stiff now, but I think that's all just sort of an easy fix as well.
Other than that, nothing on the fit out has broken.
Yeah, on the actual carpentry has been perfect.
It's crazy how it lasted.
Yeah, so we've got our angle.
Yep.
Haven't had really any issues with that. There has been a few moments where we've had ice build up and then melting, and
I think it's a common thing with the Ingles. I did a bit of research, and the freezer side, because it's a combi version, the freezer side sometimes it melts down, and the water
and
is
we've
so
never
annoying.
actually, we tried to use the freezer side once because I wanted ice because I was making cocktails, and it wouldn't make ice, so technically we've never really used the freezer side.
I think it also comes down to our 12 volt setup. The Ingle performed perfectly, but then it's the battery that we have running the Ingle was not the best. But the 12 volt system that we set up was perfect. It was just the battery. We'd go for a lithium next time, because it weighs about 40 kilos. It didn't perform the way we wanted it to.
Just because we were running the laptop so flat out, I think if we were just sort of going on a holiday instead of doing all the content creation that we were in between, it would have been fine. But because we were
flat out using
the laptop.
Like 24/7. But Ingle is awesome. I wouldn't change it. I just always go with an Ingle. That's just me. Everybody has their own opinions, of course, but I love my Ingle. I have actually turned it off for this video, so you don't hear the humming noise in the background.
We've got the beach going a bit in the background, so we don't need the hum of the Ingle at the same time.
I've turned that off for now.
So another addition we had to our interior setup was the travel buddy, which we do love. Very, very rarely used it. We used it on a few videos, and then we probably used it, what you saw in our videos, we used it those times, and we maybe used it another 4 times on the whole
Completely
trip.
Don't need it.
No, it was, I think cool. We were just after a bit of a luxy look in here, so we were like, we'll get an oven. But,
got an oven in there, mate.
Yeah, I think especially once we sort of discovered campfire cooking halfway through the trip as well, that was the travel buddy out the window pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, if you can have it and you can fit it, it's pretty cool to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's wicked. And the toilet. Now, for me, I was used to digging holes and all that kind of stuff for years, And then when we started the trip for a couple months, we didn't even use the toilet. And then
it was just sort of like an emergency thing, or if we wanted to book a campsite that specifically needed one. Yeah.
So we didn't use it. We were doing the old dig a hole. And
grotty public toilets.
Yeah. And then one day we just started using it, and we're like, this is awesome. It made the trip so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody is different. Everybody, again, will have a different opinion on using a toilet when you're traveling. But for us...
I think it's worth...
It worked so well.
You having to empty it.
Yeah, I have to empty it. But yeah, it's worked so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It made the trip a whole lot.
It's worn now. We need to buy a new one. Yeah. But what was it, like $120 or something?
Yeah, something like that. $170. Yeah. So it's for sale for $100 if you want it. Classic. No, I'm just joking. What else? So we got this
I just
side.
said it's fully worn as well.
No, I'm just joking.
One very used toilet.
Oh, we'll do a giveaway. We'll give a free toilet away.
That's disgusting, Tom. Okay, so
what else is
that
here?
pretty much it for our interior fit out?
No, so we got the water tanks where Megan's sitting here.
Oh, yes.
So we got 3 10-litre water tanks in there and 2 22-litre water tanks at the back on the rear bar that I was talking about before. They are going to be going. I'm going to keep the 3 10 litres in here, and I'm going to get a water tank. So like I said, I want to lose that weight on the back. So I'm going to get a water tank that sits under the drive shaft. I think you can buy it from ARB. I've forgotten the name. Something long something. I've forgotten the name. But we're going to do that. We're going to get the water tank under there, lose the weight off the back, and the gas bottle's going to go possibly on the roof. Because I've had a few comments about you're not allowed a gas bottle at the back because it's a collision zone. So I'm going to get rid of it.
So while we're talking about things that we are going to change on the interior as well, obviously we've got Ollie coming with us for our next lap. So we've had...
He's out the back.
He's enjoying the sunshine. We've had a few really, really helpful comments come through. So thank you to everyone who has messaged us photos of your own setup for your pets. So we're thinking here, we're going to have a little box for him that will just sort of be elevated up here. So he's going to have a full platform here. And then also he can sort of come and visit us while we're driving. Not visit us, but he likes to pop his head in there. So there's no point in us doing something out the back like I was thinking, because he's definitely going to be wanting to crawl over here anyway. So I think that's what we're going to do. And then we get to keep our beautiful drawers and things that we love so much. So I think it will work out really well. Yeah.
Now the seats. The seats have made a world of difference as well. I've said it in previous videos. The lower lumbar where it pushes the lower back is just... oh my God, it works wonders for me. And there's nothing else fancy going up the front. Just I have a GPS, so you know where you're going. That helped heaps. So being able to see when there's bends coming up or straight roads to overtake trucks and all that. So consider something like that as well. Yep.
And then I think the very last thing that we added to all of this in the interior was just a little front runner table on the
rear door there
that we
came in handy.
Oh, no, I was going to say we hardly ever used it.
No, we used it for dishes.
Placing the dishes.
But
other than that, when I'm like cooking, I always forget that it's there, and I think like, oh, I've got no table space. But
actually, we didn't really use it. No, just for dishes when we remembered it's there.
Yeah, and in the end, we didn't end up using our little sink as much either, because that used a lot more water than we were trying to use towards the end.
We actually stopped using that probably 4 months ago. It doesn't even we don't use it. We use a little indent in there for our wipes and our dish, what is it called? A little magic stick. Yeah, so we use that, but we don't use the bucket. Yeah. The main thing on the car, the alu cab conversion. Now, this is probably a big one for everyone. A lot of people want to know about this. We'll start with the exterior of it. The latches broke. I think that's quite a common thing. That actually happened on the Gibb River Road.
Yeah, didn't we lose one before then and then we lost the second one?
Oh no, sorry, it happened on Fraser Island where we were flexing a bit. We were going through rutted hills and obviously the whole car's flexing and it broke one of the latches, then the other one broke on the Gibb River Road. So 2 latches broken. The gas struts are starting to rust a bit, but that's expected. It's been on the car for over a year now, I think, and of course that's going to happen. We've used it every day for 11 months straight pretty much, so that's expected to happen. Inside, so yeah, exterior is pretty good. Inside the car is the Velcro bits where the canvas is held onto the frame of the alu cab. it's starting to come away. The glue is not sticking to the alu cab frame anymore, and it's starting to push away quite a bit, which will over time let small insects in. So that's what I've found is happening, and it's pretty good. There's nothing else, eh?
One thing that does annoy you, because you're a light sleeper, is maybe we should have put some like sticky tape or some foam around the zips, because the wind rattling, like that's just a very minor thing, but
it's something to keep in mind, because it can be annoying.
Just anything that you can do to give yourself a better sleep on the road is always
alu cab, if you're listening, if it's possible, change the zips to rubber. I don't know if it's possible, but that was just one thing that really annoyed me at night, was when it was windy. The zips just rattling against each other killed me. But it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And the pinch weld around the frame here has started to come off. A bit of glue will probably fix that. Other than that, the tent has performed amazing. No water inside. A little bit of condensation, which is expected on every single rooftop tent, but nothing insane for us.
And one more thing that is worn on the alu cab is the carpeting on the underside has started
got the camp
to come
cover
up.
bags
But we've got quite heavy camp cover bags. That is all of our toiletries up there.
But it's not a big deal. We can just glue that straight on.
That can just be glued back on. So no worries.
All round, the Troopy did it perform 150%. It just did more than the job. We couldn't be happier with it.
I know. I mentally prepared myself for a disastrous breakdown or just something like that to happen, and it never did.
It didn't happen. The engine, the 1HZ, I can't believe it. It did not cost us any money besides servicing it 4 times on the trip. It's coming up to the 4th time that I have to service it. So we serviced it 3 times, coming up to its 4th now. Oil filter, fuel filters, and airbox, air filter. That is all I did. And a timing belt somewhere in there on the trip.
And what was the little thing? Remember the mysterious ticking noise that we had? But that was more on like the suspension, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a shock absorber bushing.
Yeah.
Which is me installing it wrong. So that didn't go wrong. But yes, the engine cost us nothing, basically. It did not break down once. The starter motor needed a recondition, which I did not too long ago. I did it a few weeks ago, but that again is from me not maintaining it. So starter motor, and what else did I say? Nothing. That's it. That's it. Just the starter motor needed a recondition.
And you said timing.
And I did the timing belt, which I did myself, so I saved a lot of money there. But yes, the Troopy is the ultimate touring vehicle. I'm saying it here. We cannot think of anything else that we want to do it in. We sat down and we were like, do we want a camper trailer? Do we want a caravan?
Yeah, because we were thinking about the size for Ollie mostly. So we were discussing, and we couldn't imagine
we just
being in anything. I mean, a bus would be good, but cost-wise,
we like coming off grid,
Yeah.
so can't do that in a bus. So
we can on a
four-wheel drive one, but it costs a fortune. But we're going to keep the Troopy. We are going to change it up a bit, and we just cannot think of anything else that can beat it. I'm sure a few of you guys can, so leave it down in the comments if you've got an idea. But how much did the trip cost us?
Yeah, so as we've said in previous videos, we're not big budgeters.
No.
We don't write down. There are some really, do a quick YouTube search. There's some really good channels out there that break down everything, but that would literally drive us insane.
Yeah.
So total, we spent around the $33,000
Very rough
mark.
estimate.
Very rough. But that was for about 11 months of travel.
Pretty much.
We did do a 2-month trip up north to sort of start our travels, and that was full holiday mode.
Yeah.
So that was probably spending about $800 a week.
Yeah.
I would say then. And then we came back to Perth for Christmas and then set off again, and once again that did take us a few months of adjusting out of that holiday mode.
Yeah.
And then once we got into the swing of things, we stuck to that $600 a week budget that we've told you about in previous videos.
And then how much do we spend on diesel?
Well, again, a rough estimate, just because they do vary quite a lot depending on how remote you are and that sort of thing. So about the $13,000 mark.
Yeah, around about 13 grand. One thing which is probably common sense, but I learnt along the way, is don't fill both your diesel tanks up. because it's a lot of weight. And I stopped filling up all the water tanks because I knew that we'd be coming to certain spots where there would be drinking water or water.
And the only time we ever really needed to was the Nullarbor and Gibb River Road.
Yep.
Other than that, we
you can pretty
always
much,
had...
you know where you're at.
Yeah.
So that, I reckon that makes a big difference. All right, so... Yes, money. We didn't do very well. We didn't budget it at all.
But we had a good time. So
yeah, we had a very good time. The car, we're very lucky with the Troopy again. It didn't cost us it basically cost us nothing.
Yeah.
It cost us not much to maintain, and being mechanically minded helps a lot. So do your research before you leave on your trip, and teach yourself about your car, because it's going to help you greatly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a few of the challenges, the main things that were difficult about the lap. So some things that you should maybe think about if you're planning your own. So first of all would be thinking about where you're going to sleep every single night.
Yeah.
You know,
give you anxiety.
Yeah, you're thinking about it before you go, and it's all fun and exciting, but once you get a few months into it, it's something that's sort of on the back of your mind all the time. So it's not a huge issue, but it's just something to consider.
A little annoying.
And Wiki Camps does make it a lot easier.
Hugely,
but,
with their reviews.
Especially if you're trying to free camp every single night. I know a lot of people, it can get quite stressful. So, yeah.
But we met some people who just didn't care where they free camped.
Yeah.
They just camped anywhere. They had no anxiety about it. But we were a little bit more on the safe side, and we like to feel safe.
And we don't want to be fined either. We hate getting fines.
In saying that, feeling safe, we did pretty well for the whole trip.
Yeah.
There's a few moments there. If you go back and watch our other videos, you know about them. But there was a few moments where we felt a little unsafe, but all rounds, it was fine, and we were fine.
So another thing in that sort of category as well is planning ahead for busy periods. And as you know, there are so many people out traveling right now, so school holidays and things like that get nuts. You have to book months in advance for some sort of places if you're in one of those hot spots at the time.
It's pretty funny though, because once you start traveling and you've been gone for a little bit, weekends do not become your favourite days.
No.
Saturdays and Sundays are terrible.
The worst.
You don't want to be doing anything, we found, on those days. It's funny how that happens. The weekdays are, you kill for the weekdays.
Yeah. So that's just something you have to get organised for, is those busy periods if, again, you're in one of those areas. Just something to consider. Yeah. Another challenge would be living together in a confined space, which we have spoken about before. We've shared a few tips in some previous videos. They are a bit old, so I don't know what the quality of them is going to be like, but I'll link it up here if you want to check it out.
It's classic. You're going to have some ripper fight. You can still you'll probably be alright, but just consider it. Yeah. Be very careful.
You don't want to be on the other side of the country and realise that you can't stand to be with each other anymore. Yeah.
We met a lady in Queensland. She said she was doing the lap, and they made it from Queensland to Darwin, and she said, I can't do this anymore. And they went home.
They didn't break up though, but they had to go home, otherwise they were going to.
So it doesn't work for everyone. It worked well for us. We're still here, we're still together, and we're stronger than ever. So that's a good rhyme.
That didn't rhyme.
We're still here, we're still together, and we're stronger than ever.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yes, consider it. You got to be careful on that note.
And the last thing that can really get people in a funk is not having any structured routine. Yeah. So just anything that you can do. I mean, we've tried, we failed pretty much. We always say let's do a workout in the morning, but it doesn't happen. So it can
I don't know what it is.
We had the same wake up time every day. Yep. So we woke up every morning, we had our breakfast. So I guess you could say that's sort of a routine. But then if you're like free camping and you're trying to get away from somewhere really quickly, then you don't have that morning routine. So
that's
just
something to consider again. No routine. And another thing is you might get bored. You
take up a hobby.
You could get bored. You need a hobby. Like we pick up the camera every day, but not everybody's going to do that. And you might get bored. You don't want to be doing stuff every single day. Yeah. You think you're going to want to go sightseeing every single day. There's so much stuff to see. But it actually turns out you don't want to do that every
No,
day.
you get burnt out really quickly
Yeah.
if you're doing that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
We've seen couples really go, we need to go snorkeling, we need to go do this, we need to go do that, we need to go do this. And
especially if you're treating it as a holiday, you definitely don't want to be...
do not burn yourself out.
Yeah.
So just take it very slowly. Find yourself a hobby. I don't know, everyone's different, but yeah, ours is picking up the camera.
Could be prospecting, could be art, could be fishing.
Writing a book.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, just think about that. Be very careful about that. And also, what else?
That was it.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's no more. So we just want to talk about one more thing that's been happening behind the scenes with Megan and myself on this massive YouTube journey.
Yeah, so you might have noticed a couple of our videos have included some paid promotion lately. And I know some people have opinions on paid promotion. So we just wanted to assure you that this is how we're going to continue to make the videos that we love to do so much. It's how we're going to get on our second lap with Ollie. It's how we're going to fund the FJ build that Jack is so excited about, and he has not stopped showing me photos from 1985 with this car.
I want to put a photo up on the screen now, but I'm not going to, because it's 2 videos from now, 2 weeks from now, you're going to see it, and it is gonna be an epic
now
story.
You're hyping it up.
No, but it is gonna be an epic story.
So yes, we just wanted to assure you that these companies that we are going to be partnering with, we would never promote anything that we didn't believe in, that we didn't use ourselves, and the 2 that we have previously promoted, we have used ourselves, we love them. So it's going to be with the help of that and the help of our Patreons that we're going to be able to continue this journey, and we are so thankful, and thankful to all of you for watching on YouTube as well.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.